What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Sports Planet podcast. On today's episode, we'll go over the major storylines for Week 3 of the NFL season, and then a quick look ahead to Week 4. So, Alex, let's just get right into it. Obviously, it sounds like we're glazing the Eagles at this point, but every single week they find another way to have us talk about them. So, obviously, the Eagles rally in an epic comeback. They stunned the Rams 33-26. Eagles overcame a 26-7 second half deficit. And then the crazy ending, obviously, not only one, but two blocked field goals in the end, and then the last one being returned for a touchdown by the big man, Jordan Davis. What was your reaction to this game?
My reaction is that this is in fact a Eagles glazing podcast, and it's not even on purpose. It really isn't. Trust me. But I was fascinated watching this game. You look at the first half and you're like, oh man, the dialogue about the Packers being up 10-0 against the Browns, and now the Rams are up on the Eagles 26-7. I mean, the halftime adjustments were amazing. I mean, for the Eagles to hold the Rams offense to 81 yards and no points after halftime, that was incredible. I mean, Jalen Carter, he blocked a 36-yard field goal attempt as well. And A.J. Brown woke up. And I don't even mean that like he was sleeping. They finally gave him the opportunity. He was throwing defenders off him left and right, 109 yards. I know fantasy people are ecstatic about that. And then everybody's saying Jalen Hurts can't throw. He had 226 yards, which if you know Jalen Hurts, a 220-plus game is fantastic. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, Jordan Davis with that blocked field goal too. I mean, to get one field goal block in the game is insane, but to get a second one, and for the gamblers, like that covered for the Eagles. I mean,
that's a bad beat right there.
That is a disgusting beat. But I mean, honestly, I give credit to the Eagles for the halftime adjustments, both defensively and offensively, because a comeback doesn't only come when one side of the ball controls, it's both. And just the fact that, Hurts kept his head up throughout all that. And I mean, for the Eagles defense, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, those guys are no chumps. So in order to keep that team down, it was fantastic. It's a glazing podcast. It's the Eagles Glaze podcast, 100%. But they absolutely heard my comments on the podcast and said, "Let me shut up, Alex, and show that where the NFC title runs through Philadelphia."
Yeah, I mean, I told you guys last week. Everybody was saying the Packers this, Packers that. I'm like, pump the brakes. You already know. Regardless of what I had said in the last week, it obviously was true because we saw this week. We'll get to the Packer game soon, but obviously, real quick, you had said 0 points. It was 7. I believe they scored right after halftime in the third quarter off of that fumble. So for our listeners, as much as I wish it would have been 0, but yeah, that was crazy. So it's like that first half, you see that the offensive coordinator Patullo, everybody's ready to get rid of him, like literally, like ship him off somewhere else. Who cares where he goes? I saw somebody say they gave him a Wendy's application at halftime. Thank the Lord. I'm like, I don't know what happened in the second half, but obviously it wasn't Patullo calling the plays because all you see him is trying to run the ball up the middle with Saquon. Because I get it. Saquon is the best running back, or if you're not going to say the best, give him top 3, top 5, right? So obviously you want to get the run game going, so it opens up everything. But when everybody knows you're going straight to the run game, that literally shuts down a lot. So we saw, I don't know if it looked like Jalen Hurts took over that second half because he took over the play calling, because you could tell it was a whole different script in the second game. And that little like over the shoulder catch to A.J. Brown on the right side of the field really opened up not only like the game itself, but it truly gave them back their confidence. And you could see that was like that quick little like, all right, we got this. Let's make this comeback, So then also after that touchdown, something that went pretty much unnoticed, Lane Johnson went out with this neck stinger, then comes in Pryor to back him up. He's the one that gave up that sack fumble for Verse. So Pryor gave that one up, right? So after that, they get the quick score right away, great field positioning. And then after that, they bring in Fred Johnson, someone who they just recently traded back for again. He was part of the Super Bowl team last year. They traded for him again this year after he left. And he really was able to contain Verse, because after that, you saw that Hurts had a lot of time in the pocket. But yeah, so like little adjustments like that, aside from not only the play calling, but the pass protection here, this and that, and then don't let it get lost in the woods either that Jalen Hurts was audibling a lot in the second half as well. So even if, let's just say, Petula was calling plays still, Hurts was like, no, 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 no. I see something I like better. I'm gonna set this up instead. So it's like, as much as people want to say that he is benefiting from a great team, no doubt Eagles have a great team. I'm not gonna shut that down. But give Hurts his props, man. He really put on a clinic. So, and then I'm glad AJ Brown went off. So, anything else you got to say about this one?
Yeah, no, thinking about like back to it, it reminds me of like when the Steelers back when they had Todd Haley, back when Ben Roethlisberger was there. There was a lot of disgruntled talk from the offense about the play calling. Ben just
Yeah,
kept on audibling and just picking
yeah,
the defense
exactly.
apart. But I feel like when it comes to a great quarterback to an amazing quarterback or elite quarterback is being able to take that play call, see what the defense is offering you, and adjusting on the fly. And I think that's one thing you really got to hand it to Hurts on this, is because with the game, how it was going, so many teams, you watch them kind of lose the edge, and Hurts kept his composure even throughout the blocked field goal. There was no reaction on that man's face. He was just focused on what was happening, if they were going to get the ball back, if they were going to score, whatever it was. There's a lot of Twitter discussion, especially I'm sure on TikTok
Yeah,
and all the other social media platforms, about if Hurts should be in the top 5 conversation. I think you absolutely have to. You don't just win games by scoring 400 yards passing, 100 yards rushing. There's intangibles to the game that I think Hurts has developed, especially in his time since becoming the starter for the Eagles. Because we all remember when he first started, and it was like, oh, he's just going to run and the occasional
yeah.
pass. No, he's absolutely developed his game, and it shows.
And before we move on to the next one, real quick, if anybody didn't see, right here, Jalen Carter. It looks like they had a little bet with number 8 from the Rams, Jared Verse, obviously defensive rookie of the year last year. And I know that's a pretty nice chain right there. It looks pretty iced out. I don't know. So it looks like Jalen Carter and the Eagles got the final laugh right here, huh?
Yeah, that is a 6-figure chain for sure.
Easily. But yeah, moving on to the next one. Obviously, we alluded to them earlier. The Packers, the Browns shocked the Packers and the NFL pretty much in general, and their 13-10 upset. The Packers were up by 10 points in the fourth quarter with less than 4 minutes to go, and then it all went to hell. So, what was your reaction when you looked at your phone, or if you were watching the game? Like, what the hell? The Packers really lost to the Browns? Out of everyone, the Browns? Like, we were just saying they were the best team in the NFC last week. So what do you got to say about this one?
Yeah, no, I definitely want to highlight that Browns defense, especially the rush defense, is elite. And I was very
Yep.
surprised because I was doing my little ChatGPT research, and Browns defense, oh, by the way, which gave me Josh Jacobs under, which was a no sweat at all. They're holding like the opponents to like 2.3 yards per carry, which for everyone that knows, that is amazing. And the fact that they kept Derrick Henry in check last week, it wasn't a fluke here with Josh Jacobs. And I know the Packers O-line has kind of had the injury bug, so it's not their full strength squad. But regardless, that Browns defense was very, very impressive. And I give them a lot of credit because, offensively, the Browns aren't going to score a lot of points. So you do need your defense to kind of hold it down. And they absolutely kept Love under pressure. There was one play in particular that I think could have swung this game, and I chop it up to just a rookie mistake. Matthew Golden caught a pass on the right side of the field, running down the seam, and he caught the ball and went out of bounds. But with someone of his speed, he had a real opportunity to take it to the house. I mean, he had the angle, and looking back into this game, I mean, they lost 13-10. That could have been a play right there. And as a Steelers fan, I watched Caleb Johnson make a rookie mistake with the kickoff last week that absolutely turned the tide against the Seahawks. That was one thing that I noticed. And again, rookie mistake, it happens. I remember Plaxico Burress when he when he caught the diving catch and then spiked the ball, but no one touched him, so it was a fumble.
Yeah.
So stuff like that I noticed. But yeah, no, Jordan Love was under pressure a ton, even with that basically, like, with 3 minutes remaining, that interception by Grant Delpit. Like, the Browns defense absolutely got in the Packers' head for sure. And I mean, 5 sacks from them. I mean, Myles Garrett, Malik Collins, and the rookie Mason Graham, who a lot of people were very down on and were questioning the pick when Cleveland took them. But just an overall great performance by the Browns. And as of today, Eagles, like I said, Eagles, the NFC
Yeah.
runs through Philadelphia.
Until further notice. Last week I said we'll see week 10 once the Eagles travel to Lambeau. Now, is it when Detroit comes to Philly? Because, Detroit's looking pretty good themselves, right? So obviously they won their Monday Night Football matchup against the Ravens 38-30. So they from the get-go, they set the tone, right? Opening drive touchdown. And then, like it just never felt like they really lost control of this game. So do you think this game against the Ravens, their win on the road in Baltimore, did this kind of prove that the Lions week 1 loss was a fluke, or what do you think?
I absolutely believe it was a fluke. They scored 52 points, I think, against the Bears, and we all know about the whole
Mhm.
Ben Johnson thing. But for
Yeah,
them
yeah.
to do it against the Ravens, which I'm not saying the Ravens are necessarily like a stout defense at the moment, the ability to create those mismatches, all the little moving around plays that they do,
Mhm.
they absolutely are a real team. Week 1 was a
Yeah.
fluke. It happens. And just Dan Campbell's just balls of steel to just go for it on fourth down and making
Yeah.
those tough decisions that most coaches wouldn't dare because they don't want to deal with the repercussions. I mean, absolutely just phenomenal. And yeah, no, I 100% think that between Montgomery and Gibbs, I know I was thinking Gibbs was going to be the main back entering the season, especially with Montgomery opting out of surgery and how that can affect an athlete's leg long term. But I mean, for him to
Yeah.
get 151 yards and 2 touchdowns, I mean, this Thunder and Lightning is 100% still in full motion. And Jared Goff finally beat the Ravens, which I think he had been 0 for 5. So, yeah, just an all around amazing
Yeah.
game offensively.
Yeah, Sonic and Knuckles looked really good yesterday. Gibbs and Montgomery. So, and then obviously, like this whole game, like I mentioned before, the Lions had it from the get go in terms of they were in control, but it felt like towards the end, towards the end of the fourth quarter, I mean, the Ravens had their opportunities to come back and take control of the game themselves. But it's all like you saw Henry with that crucial fumble at the end when Aiden Hutchie comes out to punch it out, and then that's also his third fumble in as many games. So I don't know what everybody else is going to say about that, but like it's just crazy because like they had like for everything that was going right for the Lions, they still had their chance to come back and win it at home. But it's all like they just could never put the pieces together when they truly needed to. So I agree with you. I think this does prove that it was a fluke. I thought so week 1 already, but this like last week we were like, okay, it was the Bears, all right. So this week kind of proves it as well because not that the Ravens have like a great defense. Obviously, they've given up 38 to the Detroit. They've given up 41 to Buffalo. So it's all like not that they had a great defense, but they also do have an amazing offense led by Lamar Jackson, of course. So I'm like, this just proves that the Lions are pretty much the next set of contenders after the Eagles and the NFC. Obviously, I have the Rams, Lions, and Bucks. So
I wanted to point out, so watching this game, and as a former film junkie, the
mhm,
one thing I noticed was Roquan Smith. Now, Roquan Smith is upper echelon, top tier, middle linebacker. But
mhm,
in this game, he was absolutely exposed. He was, wasn't able to shut off blocks the way he normally does. Completely neutralized. They were kind of playing away from him. It seemed like in a lot of aspects. But this is kind of where, again, fucking Eagles glazing podcast. This is where I say like a great GM can pair players together. Everybody has their strength, but when you pair the right
yeah,
players together, like when Patrick Queen, now a Steeler, is with Roquan, both of their skills allowed both of them to flourish. Especially
mhm,
Roquan, when he first got to the Ravens, it was like a match made in heaven. And there's been
yeah,
a lot of talk about whether Patrick Queen, because he's had some struggles, whether it was Roquan the one that made him look better. But I think Roquan right now is feeling the lack of another linebacker that has that sideline to sideline approach. So I feel like
mhm,
personnel wise, the Ravens are missing that. Roquan's more than capable, but you know what I mean? Like it's that complementary piece defensively next to you that can really elevate you as a player. And I feel like what I saw was this Ravens defense continually getting exposed, and Ravens offense was stalling and the defense was on the field a lot. I'm
yeah,
sure that played a lot into that, especially with that, I think, almost 10-minute drive they had in, I believe, the second or third quarter.
mhm,
So Yeah, no, with the Ravens, I'm definitely concerned just watching Roquan in that game, just in terms of how they can continue to stay in games when the offense stalls. Because Roquan is a guy that you expect 10 plus tackles a game. In this game, he ended up with, I believe, 7. And
Yeah.
a lot of plays, he was late. It was just very unlike him. But I think that
Mhm.
also kind of plays into how this offense, the offensive scheme was set up, because you obviously want to keep it away from Kyle Hamilton, you obviously want to keep it away from Roquan, and they absolutely neutralized both of them. I mean, this Ravens secondary was picked apart, and
Yeah.
again, we saw the Bills do it, but it just kind of creates a bigger concern for me in terms of how the Ravens defense as a unit is playing, because you look at Ravens is the same way you look at the Steelers, is like teams that have always had good defenses, and you're seeing the
Mhm.
the gaps and the holes. And yeah, no, I the Ravens defense is a big red flag for me right now.
Well, yeah, that's the thing with football. It's like it's a little not. I'm not going to say easier, but it's a little more manageable. In basketball, when you only have 5 guys on there, you have one superstar, he can kind of elevate the rest of the team. But when football or baseball, like obviously there's 9 over there, 11 in football. It's like when you have 11 guys, one of them can't do everything. So it's all like,
Yeah.
yeah, sure, you might have the front 4 or the front 7 in general, but then your secondary is giving up all these bombs downfield, so it doesn't matter. So if you don't get to the quarterback in time, then it just a recipe for disaster, I guess. Yeah, but moving on, we have another NFC East team that we're talking about that isn't the Cowboys or the Washington. It is the New York Giants. Is it too soon or just the right time to let Jaxson Dart? They just announced earlier today that they're going to be benching quarterback Russell Wilson after an atrocious Sunday night football game. Anybody watching that? It's like, how is this guy still the starter? Like, what was your reaction to this one?
Oh, I absolutely think it's too soon. I think this is just a testament to Brian Dabble feeling how hot the seat is and realizing that, my job is on the line. I got to do whatever I can to spark life into this team. And I
Yeah.
mean, I just think that, I mean, look, I've been on record with Russell Wilson since he was a Bronco. I faked believed in him when he was a Steeler, and I obviously got taught a lesson right away.
Yeah.
Um, I just think Russell Wilson is just a backup quarterback at this point. I don't think he has that like twitch to like make a play like he did in Seattle, where he'd run around the
Mhm.
pocket, always look deep. Doug Baldwin, all those plays he made. I just think
Yeah.
right now, with the way the Giants are struggling, and now you got Dexter Lawrence, their premier defensive tackle, upset with the team and possibly going to ask for a trade. I just think
Sexy
this is
Dexter.
exactly. I think it's too soon, but I mean, I like Jaxson Dart as a prospect. I definitely
Yeah.
would have liked them to put in Jameis Winston now, but I think Dabble is just putting all his chips in the center, and he's like, I'm going to let the
Yeah.
kid start. But I mean, some of those throws that Wilson made, the fact that Andy
It was
Reid was arguing whether he was throwing it like completely away while in the pocket instead of aiming at a receiver, like just some bonehead decisions. But again, he's walking into a situation where I don't think he's gonna get success right away, and who knows how that's gonna impact his confidence. I know we all talk about mental strength, but a bunch of big losses back to back is gonna, it's tough on any person starting their career.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I'm with you. I do believe it is too soon, but I feel like the fact that they had Jackson Dart as the QB2 already, like I would have, yeah, like how you said, I would have much rather had them have Jameis as the QB2, Dart as the emergency. That way, if or not if, but when we were, because we already knew when Russ was gonna mess it up, you could have Jameis come in and kind of like try to revamp that offense. But now, since Dart was the QB2, you have to start him because like we're not going to bench James. We're not going to bench Russ for the emergency quarterback in Jameis, right? But the thing
Right.
is, like Russ was so bad. It's like how you mentioned, like those throws, like he was literally just chucking it up there, hoping one of his receivers would go up for it and come down with it. And it's like he also threw one into the end zone where it looked like Neighbors got hurt. Luckily, he got up, but like it looked like he got hit on that one pretty bad. And then like on the last one, where like towards the end of the game, where he literally just chucked it up and hit the upright. I'm like, dude, are you serious? Like how? Like what is going on right now? Every time he threw it, you're like, okay, yeah, it's like that one meme. You need to leave. Like literally,
a
like get
hundred
him off the
percent.
field. But like I
I
agree.
think
Going
I
back to
think I
Dart,
felt when they benched Justin Fields for him, and I was like, dude, we're winning. What are you
exactly. You
doing?
guys are you guys were five
Oh,
and two, the Steelers, and then they bench him. It's like, oh, just it's like that's like as if Hurts were to get benched for somebody else just because they're 5-2, but he doesn't have the passing yards, right? That was essentially the thing with Justin Fields last year. It's like, oh, but he's still getting you wins, right? So it's like you kind of messed up. They messed it up, yeah. But like with Dart, it's like how you alluded, it is too soon because I was looking at their schedule. Obviously, they have the 3-0 sorry, not Giants, sorry. The 3-0 Chargers, followed by Eagles twice, Broncos, 49ers, the Bears, Packers, and Lions. So that's 8 out of their next 9 really tough matchups. One of them being the Saints, so that should be the win, right? But like that's essentially him starting 1-8 to start. So like I was looking at the schedule, I was like, maybe this isn't their best time, but I understand like how you said Dable is feeling the pressure. So I would have thought they would have waited till like maybe week 13 at the earliest against the Patriots on the road, or there's a bye week after that, so he could have started week 15 at home against like Washington or something. But the fact that Russ was this bad just proved that like, okay, we got to throw Dart in there because like the whole stadium was booing anytime freaking Russ would make a throw.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear Dart in an NFL game actually have to like, you know, yell, because in college his whole thing was clapping, which is
Yeah,
hilarious.
like
When he did that for John Gruden, he's like,
yeah,
"Show me
yeah.
your hard count," and he was just like, you know,
He's like, that's it. Yeah.
yeah. Though that's it's just college football. Not all colleges are really trying to train you for the NFL.
Yeah.
But it is imperative that you get this guy going early. Don't just throw him out there with a full playbook. Like, get some scheme the ball to Wandale, scheme the ball to Malik. Don't put it all on his shoulders. It's not fair to him that your job is on the line.
Yeah.
Like, please, because I could see how this could just destroy his confidence. You know what I mean? Like, he knows he's not on a good team, but then you get out there, New York media comes out, and especially in the bigger markets, you know. And again, not to segue to a different sport, but it's like Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons' career could have been different if he went to a smaller market, because he clearly can't handle the noise outside. So I feel like, especially with young guys, throwing them into this bigger market, I mean, look, Steelers are. Would you consider Steelers a big market?
Pittsburgh, probably not. I mean, they're a big franchise in terms of the NFL. But market-wise, I wouldn't say they're one of the bigger ones. I would say like LA, New York, Miami, obviously like somewhere in Texas. So
yeah, and Kenny Pickett couldn't handle that. Little Kenny Pickett slander. Honestly, you know what? Screw the Eagles for giving Kenny Pickett a ring, so he could show it off to us.
Yeah, we helped him get what you guys wouldn't help him get. That's all. But like you alluded to Ben Simmons. Or had he just made that layup against Atlanta, then that would have been a whole different story. But the fact that he didn't want to go up for a layup in a damn playoff game, elimination game, that just ruined everything. Anything else you want to say before we move on?
I am still a little mad at Sirianni for letting Kenny Pickett get snaps in the Super Bowl, but that's it.
Kenny Pickett has more snaps than Dak Prescott in an NFC Championship game and a Super Bowl. Let that sit. All right, so time to stop looking behind us in the past and time to start looking to the future, right? Here are our games of the week in week 4. Starting off with the Vikings and your Steelers, Alex. Obviously, Dublin game, 6:30 a.m. start. First international game of the year. What are you most looking forward to this besides waking up super early to watch this game?
Oh, I'm excited here because I feel like this is a good bounce back spot for the Steelers defense to show me something. Last week they got 5 turnovers and we only won by a touchdown. It's insane to think about what other teams could have done with 5 turnovers. Really excited for Harmon's second game. He got a sack in his first game, made a lot of great plays. Obviously the run defense improved. On the opposite side, the Vikings, there was an interview with Kevin O'Connell after the game, and the middle of the week meetings, and he was very non-committal on JJ. And they asked him like, "Hey, if he's ready, is he going to suit up?" And he's like, "Well, it's not really. It's more than that." And it kind of feeds into the speculation of being so non-committal if he's healthy, because your prediction that JJ was going to have a down year, that he wasn't going to perform. I mean, when he's your franchise quarterback allegedly, and you have that type of approach where if he's healthy to go, you're not completely sure if he's going to start yet, it kind of makes me think that there's some doubts on how he played. There was a whole story, and again, there's so much like NBA Centel, all these fake ass pages like posting stuff. But apparently, he was going to bench him at the end of
against the Falcons on Sunday night.
Against the Falcons, that they were going to bench him at the end, but apparently Justin Jefferson or somebody talked him out of it. Whether it's true or not, it seems like there's rumblings that maybe JJ doesn't have the full confidence right now, but it could also be a coach protecting his player, making sure like he doesn't come back till he's ready. But that's something absolutely to monitor as the season goes on.
That's crazy. They struggled against the Falcons in week 2, and then for the Falcons to struggle against the Panthers. So it's like the first couple of weeks has been up and down for a lot of teams. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt for now. But like how I mentioned earlier in the year, I thought he was my bust candidate of the year. So we'll see how it turns out later on. But moving on to the next game, we have Chargers at Giants for what we were just talking about. Obviously, the Chargers are 3-0 going on the road against Jaxson Dart and the Giants as the main starter now. So what are you looking most forward to in this one?
Like I was alluding to when we were talking about the Giants quarterback change, they're going to have to make this offense, scheme some touches in, because Derwin James is on the other side. Derwin James is one of those safeties that he lines up all over the field. He's going to absolutely bait Dart into some throws that he shouldn't make. So this is a big challenge here for Dart. So like I said, he's being thrown into the fire due to the coaching staff's job, and I feel like facing Derwin James for your first game is going to be a tough ask for any rookie quarterback.
And then, like how we mentioned earlier, we're changing the name from Sports Planet Pod to Eagles Planet Pod. Just kidding. But, of course, they're on our top game of the week again, Eagles at Bucks. Two great offenses going off against each other, I'm sorry. So who do you think gets their first L of the year, the Eagles or the Bucks?
It's going to be the Bucks.
You can be honest.
There's no Mike Evans. He's out for at least a month. I'm not confident Godwin's back yet. Igbuka is also dealing with a hamstring injury. His target participation was down last week because of it. I just feel like there's too many injuries on this Bucks team going against this Eagles team that's riding on a high. The Bucks are going to get their first loss.
Obviously, I'm going to go with the Eagles. Obviously, my bias is going to come out, but this one I am a little worried because the Eagles going down to Tampa Bay, the humidity down there. It hasn't been nice to them recently. So this is a game where I'm not going to say Eagles freaking stomp them, but maybe you could, like how you mentioned, obviously Evans is out. Maybe that helps them out a bit, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see.
And also shout out to Baker Mayfield for, ripping Zins on the field. That's how you handle that Tampa Heat.
Literally. So yeah, then our next game of the week, we have Ravens at Chiefs, a pair of AFC contenders coming into the season, both starting 1-2. What do you look most forward to in this one?
See, this is like pivotal game for both teams.
Yep.
No team wants to start off 1-3.
Nope.
You're going with Mahomes, who obviously has a chip on his shoulder for how rough this offense has looked and how poorly they've played. I mean, look, beating the Giants is nothing to hang your hat on. And the Ravens, I can't be the only one that expects Derrick Henry to pull off a crazy game this week, because he's fumbled 3 times this season, one in each game. He's lost it in against the Bills, and he lost it against the Lions. So I gotta think Henry's coming out here with like the biggest chip on his shoulder, and I feel bad for the Chiefs because their defense is gonna get ran on. I gotta think we get like Tennessee Titans Derrick Henry on the Jags, like against the Jags run,
200 yards incoming or what?
I think so. I think the Ravens are going to win this game. I feel like Henry's going to come out here with a vengeance.
This game, the Ravens should win, but I just feel like Chiefs somehow find a way to win this one. They're at home, going down 1-3 in their division after the Chargers more than likely will go to 4-0 against the Giants. And that's crazy for the Chargers too. They started with 3 straight divisional games, so props to them for starting 3-0. But yeah, the Chiefs need this one to stay in contention for that AFC West that isn't a slouch aside from the Raiders. But I think Chiefs find a way to squeeze one out. But then moving on to Sunday Night Football, we have the Packers at Cowboys. Obviously, the return of Micah Parsons back to Dallas. CeeDee Lamb expected to be out 3 to 4 weeks with that high ankle sprain. But what are you most looking forward to in this one?
Oh, I can't wait to hear the crowd when Micah gets his first sack because it's coming. Like I feel like the Cowboys losing CD, it's like the spark plug for the offense. Like I
Mhm.
think George Pickens is obviously benefits from having CD on the opposite side, and now it's the Pickens and Ferguson show and a little bit of Turpin in there. It's so little firepower, and I think like after watching what happened with the Packers, they're going to come out completely locked in. You lose to the Browns, regardless of how good the defense was, it
Yeah,
stings.
yeah.
So I feel like the Packers are absolutely going to have their way with the Cowboys. With CD gone, I don't know how this offense is going to operate effectively. I mean, Dak threw an interception in the fourth quarter, and then here comes Joe Milton. He throws an interception in the fourth quarter. It's just like everything can go wrong has gone wrong right now.
How early do you think they'll start be chanting "Thank you, Jerry" or "F you, Jerry" once Micah Parsons gets his first sack in Dallas as a Green Bay Packer?
I think they'll be chanting it as soon as the offense lines up against Micah. That's when they'll say it because Cowboys fans have not taken it well, and obviously
Oh
everybody
no.
had Cowboys fans have been beefing with Jerry Jones for years now, and that was like the cherry on top of just complete disgruntled fan base.
Anything else you want to mention before we take off?
All right. In the comments to to the first reel that he posts, let me know, is it too early to drink at 6 a.m. when your team plays at 6:30? Let me know. I just want to know if I am among friends or am I the weird one in the room?
I mean, it's never too early. It's always 5 o'clock somewhere, right? So it
Exactly.
might be 6. It might be 6:30 here, but there are 8 hours ahead over there. So at least it'll be past noon. So it's never too early, Just drink
Exactly.
responsibly.
Exactly.
But
Maybe.
but yeah, maybe allegedly, we'll see. But that's all for this episode. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Follow us on social media at Sports Planet Pod. And remember, new episodes drop every Wednesday morning. So we'll catch you guys next week for another episode of the Sports Planet Podcast.